Hello and welcome. This is Rooflemonger and my friends. In today's video, we're going to be talking about Eddie in Guilty Gear Strive. So we have Zato-1 picked right now, and where's Eddie? Well, you can see Eddie on the screen right now. He's just kind of on the floor right now because Eddie is Zato's shadow. Now, Zato is what we call a puppet character, in that effectively you are controlling two characters at once, both Zato and Eddie himself. And Zato can do a move, and then Eddie can also do a move. So you got to worry about what you're doing as Zato and also what you are doing as the puppet, Eddie. So this video will explain the ins and outs of using Eddie. He's a pretty complex mechanic. This character scares most people off because using Eddie correctly is pretty hard. If you don't know how to use Eddie, then you're basically handicapping your ability to play this character pretty badly, right? So I will explain to you just how it all works. So first up here, there are 5 core Eddie moves. First is quarter circle back heavy slash, and that just summons Eddie. So we're good to go here. Eddie's on the screen. He's not doing anything just yet. So if you just want him without committing to anything, this is what you do. There's quarter circle forward and punch. That is pierce. And this move here will summon Eddie, and he'll do 2 quick stabbing attacks forward. There's quarter circle forward kick called That's a Lot, and he summons, well, a lot of drills, and hey, well, that's a lot. It's certainly more than Zato can summon, because Zato can only do 1 drill at a time, whereas Eddie, well, he can do 4, so that's a lot. There's quarter circle forward S, this is the leap. So Eddie comes like a giant little whale shark thing here, and it does do multiple hits if he's close enough, just FYI. And this is just really big for eating up massive chunks of the screen, and also for combo ability. And we have quarter circle forward heavy slash, which is oppose. So Eddie makes this neat little stance here really quick here, where he kind of like multi-arm before he turns into a bunch of snakes. Now the thing about this stance is this. The beginning of that move specifically is armored. So say we got Saul and he's just going to do gunflame to us, right? If we have Eddie doing specifically the oppose move in front of us, he will absorb any attack coming his way before he just turns into a bunch of snakes and attack. So this is effectively a moving wall. So you can safely go behind this and then, not really have any worries in the world. As the game matures, as the game evolves, there will be a million setups, a million combos, a million possibilities with Eddie, because that's just how this character always works. That's why it's so difficult and confusing sometimes, but for now, we'll just stick with the basics. Now, if you look down below here, above your attention meter, your super meter, you have basically an Eddie meter. And Eddie, the longer he's out, the more that's going to drain. He cannot stay out forever. A big core of this mechanic is simply, you'll be summoning Eddie a lot of times throughout the fight. He just can't stay out forever. So just the act of being out and about does drain him. And also, if you were to do, say, any attack, like right now, right? So draining at a slow rate, and an attack, that can massively drain the bar he has. Now, to note here, say a move like oppose. By the time it's done here, it's going to drain the entire meter, right? But you can have him out the whole time. There's no initial cost factor. As long as there's bar left, you can do a move. So say we're going to be like near out of bar here. Okay, we're almost running out. And with a little bit left, then we do oppose. That's fine. Even though it would drain all of its meter by itself normally, as long as you have even a little bit meter left, you can safely use any move you want. Now, keep in mind, the other way Eddie can go down besides just you using his abilities is, he's fallible, he can get hit. So Saul kicked him in the head, then he's taking a little break, right? So you do want to protect Eddie a bit, as any hit will knock him out unless he's specifically in that armored oppose stance. Also, keep in mind here, unless you're using the oppose stance we mentioned earlier, Eddie won't take hits for you. So if you're going to get hit anyways by a move, you'll just both get hit at the same time, so he can't take the hit for you. But as soon as he's out, he takes a little breather, and then he's ready to come back. Now, let's talk Eddie's movement, because this is also very key. Now, while Eddie's out, he'll basically do his best to mimic you, although he's faster than you, at least when you're walking. So if you go backwards, he goes backwards. If you go forward, he goes forward. Same if you run, same if you backdash. Heck, same if you're even like in the air, right? Now, that said, he can move while you're not. So moving back or forward moves him back or forward, but this is also same for down, back, and down, forward. So if we summon him and we're crouching, if I hit down, back, or down, forward, he can move independently of me as Zato. So I can move him behind the enemy or behind me or whatever I so choose. And keep in mind, if he is, say, behind the enemy and you're not, and you do a move, he will do it from behind the foe and bring them to you. So it can be very key for setups, combo ability, all that kind of stuff. He can also be commanded to move forward or backwards while you're doing other moves. So say I do my move here, Invite Hell, it's my drill, right? I can move him forward and backwards while doing it. As you can see there, right? So just keep that in mind. You have total control over what this guy is doing, because once again, you're effectively playing two characters at once. Also, Zato has a move that can either stop or reflect projectiles, right? And that's fantastic, that's great. But it is multifaceted in that it can also control Eddie's movement. So if Eddie happens to be near Zato when he does the move, he will send him flying to the other side of the character. Now, if you happen to be, like, say, the exact end of the screen, he can't quite make it in full from there, but he'll try his best. And from there, then, you know, it's not too far to be on the other side of the character and do whatever you're going to do. But yeah, it's another tool to move the character. Controlling Eddie and his movement is ultra, ultra, ultra key. Now, this is super important. I'm going to talk about negative edge. So as we went over earlier, you can do quarter circle forward and, like, whatever button to summon Eddie and do whatever move he's going to do, right? And every time you do it, he'll do a clap when he's out, right? So that's great, and it just helps control the character, sure, but it takes valuable time. Now, you might notice if I have him summoned and I just, like, mash punch, he'll do the punch appropriate move, right? And same, say if I mash slash. I do it and I mash slash, he'll do the slash appropriate move instead of doing the quarter circle forward slash, right? So I can choose which one it is. But it's not the act of you pressing the button that makes this work. It's the act of you letting go of the button. So you have to already be holding it. So once again here, for example, I'm going to do the leap version. So summon Eddie, quarter circle forward, and S. And there you go. He does a leap and you see him do a little clap. Now we're going to do it one more time here. Now to note here, I'm going to summon him, then hold S. Okay, I'm holding S now, right? And now I'm going to let go of S. And notice he did the move. So holding down a button is super key and critical to understanding, because you don't want to just, like, mash a button when he's out, because that button might not be ideal. But once again, you don't have to mash it. You just have to let go of it. The initial button press does nothing. Once again here, so I'm going to hit slash when he's out. Nothing. It's only when I let go of the button does he actually come out. So you can have him out, and say, once again here we have the Invite Hell drill. If I just tap the move as normal, he will just come out and do the oppose move, because that is tied to heavy slash, right? But if I were to have him out, do a Invite Hell here, and hold the button, nothing. So it's only when I let go. And say if I tap another button while I'm holding this button, then that'll come out just fine, right? So it's all about when you let go of buttons. This is one of the biggest hurdles of the character. A lot of people, this is where they kind of hit the wall. And you're going to have to practice this a little bit more than any other character in the game, because it's not intuitive, I'm not going to lie, but this is super, super, super key. And that's Eddie in a nutshell. So if you're signing up with Zato, you obviously got to learn how to use Eddie. And I'm not going to lie to you, when you go to character select screen, it says, like, character difficulty. Zato is the single highest of all the characters in the game, and there's a good reason for it, because this lovable little scamp right here. But that said, puppet characters, they're rewarding. If you can manage to figure this out, it's very rewarding for you. These kind of character archetypes are rare already, but they're definitely the most difficult and demanding kind of archetype in fighting games for sure. And there's a certain amount of self-satisfaction if you can get a hold of it. One thing to note here about specifically his super move, the Sun Void. So that's the big old sword here. So one, if it hits, it'll summon Eddie for you. You don't got to worry about it. And also, wherever Eddie happens to be on the screen when you do the super, that is the starting point for the super. So just FYI, the positional stuff matters quite a bit. With that all said, my friends, hopefully you understand the character a lot better now. There's so much to this character, and this character will definitely have some of the greasiest, craziest stuff as the game evolves over time. But we gotta, do step one first. So step one is just understanding how your little buddy works. And if you can work together, I'm sure you'll have a friendship that'll last forever. That all said, my friends, that is the end of the video. So thank you very much for watching. Hope this video has found you well. And hey, go out and play some Guilty Gear.